Over the years, courthouses has been racist towards the African American group. For an example, at some point in time, black people were not allowed to be part of the jury. They were excluded from society and were treated unfairly. Also, African Americans in court cases are treated different than white people. Studies have shown that black defendants are at least 30% most likely to be imprisoned than white defendants for the same crime. People of color make up 30% of the U.S. population, but 60% of those are in prison. Black defendants receive long prison time than white defendants. Hello, my name is Hermona Temesgen, and for my project, I observed the Van Nuys Courthouse. My experience made me feel mixed emotions. After we walked through the medical detectors, the security around the entrance were very welcoming. Before I walked inside the case, I felt hesitant, as if I wasn't allowed to walk in. We then asked a white lady that was walking in the courtroom if we were allowed to observe. The woman told us that we were not allowed, only witnesses and the people part of the case. So my group sat outside for about 15 minutes, and we asked an African American man that left the room if we can go inside, and he told us that anybody could go in. We then realized that the lady lied to us. When we went inside the courtroom, the case was about an African American man convicted in a murder case. I noticed that the jurors were made up of mostly white people. The prosecutor was presented by a public defender. The area where the courthouse was mostly minorities. There were no African Americans in the courtroom. The judge and the security guards were all white.
Hello, my name is Johnetta, and for our project space presentation, Hermona Destiny and I visited the Van Nuys Courthouse and got the chance to sit and watch a murder trial. When we first arrived at the courthouse, there were only about 2 or 3 security officers standing at the entrance where we went through the metal detectors. As we were walking through the court building, I noticed that there were barely any people inside, and the security was very polite. When we entered into the courtroom, I felt nervous and a bit scared. As I looked around the room, I noticed that there were 2 or 3 police officers standing close by the African American male. On the other side of the room was the jury made up of about 12 and the prosecutor who was giving his presentation to the jury, which was made up of mostly whites. Rather, the African American male who was on the trial, guilty or not, I felt a bit sorry for him because with the racial criminal justice system we have in America, I know he had very little chance of being treated to a fair trial.
Hello, my name is Jonai, and I went to Antelope Valley Courthouse in Palmdale, California, and attended traffic jury. When I first walked in, I observed the security where they make everyone go through metal detectors. I witnessed everyone get through without problems except for one black man in a big jacket. He got an extra shakedown, but I noticed that the machine didn't make any noises when he walked through. So could it be because he was possibly black and he had on a big jacket? I sat through the traffic ticket cases as it was mostly filled with blacks and Mexicans, as they are minorities, which is expected. Almost everyone that had tickets got a fee to pay, except for one older lady that had a ticket for keeping things hanging on her mirror. She just got a simple fix-it ticket. Being in the courthouse made me sit back and realize that most of the people in the courthouse were black and Mexicans, the people that white cops are always pulling over. In most traffic cases, they're really just greedy for money. Whether they're blacks, Mexicans, Indians, any other race. In the traffic cases, people try to argue them, but it's usually impossible to argue when the cop actually shows up for the court.
Oh, we also gotta write my own? No.
You just have to write